Hello, I'm Preparedness. Him? That's Disaster. He doesn't have too much to say. He's been hanging around more and more, although he's usually not this easy to spot. He's a busy guy. He's always up to something. You know, he's taught me a few lessons, like if you know when and where he'll show up, it's easier to take action. But it's those unexpected visits that do the most damage. And that's normally how he works. It's not like he's in the habit of calling ahead.
Hey, Disaster here. Yeah, I was wondering if you're available for a chemical spill. Wednesday, maybe 1 o'clock. No? No good? Oh, I got a new thing I'm bringing in. Earthquakes. You'll love it. I'm shipping them in from the West Coast. No?
Dan, it's not like he's always there, constantly reminding you to be prepared and to get ready. If he were this annoying, I'm sure you'd be ready for him. But being ready for disaster, well, that's your responsibility. I mean, you go to great lengths to get yourself ready for far less serious threats. It's a good look for you. Disaster is always out there, plotting everything from tornadoes to terrorist attacks to who knows what. But there are a few simple steps you can take to keep him in his place. Have an emergency kit, keep it stocked, and know exactly where it is. Have an emergency plan and share it with your family, your friends, and your neighbors. And know the potential threats in your area. And be prepared with at least a couple of ways to stay informed. Sure, he looks big and scary, and you can't stop him from showing up. But take it from Preparedness. You and your family can handle whatever disaster dishes out. Have a kit, make a plan, and stay informed. What to do about our old friend Disaster? Well, he's always around, plotting, planning, waiting. I wish I had a magic wand so I could just poof, make him disappear. But I don't. Hey. But there are things that you can do to be ready for him. Things that can lessen his impact on your life. Keep his mayhem to a minimum. First, have an emergency supply kit in your home. For the first 72 hours, disaster can wreak havoc on power, communications, and even the ability for emergency personnel to respond to an overwhelming amount of calls. But you can be ready.
I'm not talking about a fully stocked bomb shelter.
Or a big expensive stockpile of anything, hey, and everything. Hey, what are we missing? But what I am talking about is a simple, thought-out collection of things that you know you're gonna need to make it through the first 72 hours after an emergency or a disaster. Important things like water, 1 gallon per person per day. Food, hey, you gotta eat, right? Flashlights with extra batteries. Copies of important papers with things like insurance, prescriptions, and phone numbers. And a couple of ways to keep in touch with important information, like a battery-powered all-hazards radio. Now, put it all in a safe place where everybody knows where it is, and have a plan in place on how to use it. There are countless ways to put together your emergency kit. The only wrong way is to have no kit at all.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Disaster.
Disaster who? Hey, it's no joke. The time you take now can keep your family safe and comfortable when disaster does come knocking. And having an emergency kit in place can minimize disaster's impact and make recovery quicker and easier. So, what are you up to?
Nothing.
Oh, come on, you can show me. It's just like him. I never know what he's up to. But I can tell you that no matter what he's planning, there are a lot of things you can do to be ready for him. Like having a plan. I mean, you and your family know the basics. Like where to take cover for a tornado. Like what to do in a fire. How to shelter in place in case of a massive hazardous chemical spill. Oh, you hadn't thought about that one. Well, while he's still working, I'll walk you through it. Start with knowing all the risks in your area. Now, some you'll be familiar with, but some maybe not. But they're all very real threats. Know exactly where you'll get your information, and have a backup, because disaster's really good at knocking out the kind of communication we rely on every day. Really? Talk with your family. Everyone should know exactly where to go and what to do. And have a meeting place so that you'll know everyone's accounted for. Have an emergency supply kit and know where it is. The things that you'll need for the first 72 hours after disaster. And it should also have important documents in it that you'll need to grab in case of an evacuation. Keep it all simple, easy to understand, and up to date. Hey, it doesn't need to be rocket science. But a thorough plan shared with your family can save your lives.
Hello, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this thing on? Yo.
Know when to be prepared. Stay informed of the threats and heed all the warnings.
Yeah, it's on.
When disaster does strike, doing nothing can be a deadly option. You wouldn't send your child to a school that didn't have an emergency plan in place, so don't you think you should have one for your home? So the time to make a plan and talk about it is now. And if you don't know what to do during a certain disaster, at least know where to find out about it. Eventually, he'll be ready for his next visit. But no matter what he's got cooked up, you'll be ready for him, right?